So this episode's called Veritas Vincit. And a quick Google search, because who the hell knows what Veritas Vincit means, right? So I Googled it, and it means truth prevails. Now, truth prevails definitely applies to this episode because a lot of truths were either prevailing or they were being unveiled in this episode. We're gonna break it all down. So Vanessa woke up from another one of her dreams where she saw the red door. And in this dream, Susan, who's part of her crew from before, from season 1, appeared. And that evil creature appeared there also. And I'm calling him evil creature because he looks kind of creepy, right? He's whispering in Vanessa's ear like, ah! Like, what good creature does that, right? So the creature who Dimitri later on probably addressed as the elder. So this creature an elder? Is this creature the same creature that Dimitri was telling Scab about later on, that he feared them? And Dimitri's a pretty badass, big, powerful vampire. For him to fear someone, this elder, who looks like it's probably who's locked behind this door. So Julius follows behind Vanessa, right? And speaking of Julius, you saw that when Vanessa woke up, Julius is like, "You had a dream?" And he's like, "Yo, I had a dream too." So it turns out, apparently, that vampires do not dream. And this whole dreaming thing is new to him because he hasn't dreamed in a very long time. He's been a vampire a very long time. Remember that, guys. So Julius doesn't dream. And later on, Scab, when he's having a conversation with Dimitri, he's like, "We don't dream." And Dimitri's like, "Shut your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about." So it looks like Dimitri's having these same dreams of the red door. So Scab is like, vampires don't dream, and Julius is like, "I'm so happy to be dreaming." So that's an interesting thing, right? So these vampires just have great sleep, right? They just sleep right through the night, or they eat right through the night anyway. So basically, Vanessa runs into the doc and Axel, and what happens is not what we expect. We thought Vanessa was gonna like embrace Axel, and be like, "Oh my God, Axel!" She's like, he's alive?" She was a little bit shocked, and she kind of looks at the doc and says, "You told me he was dead." But she doesn't bite him right away. Like, I thought Vanessa was gonna bite Axel the minute she saw him to save him, right? And Axel's in really rough shape, y'all. But Vanessa does not bite him because Vanessa's still caught up with the death of her daughter. Her death is very fresh, right? Dylan just died, and she's still carrying that with her. And she's terrified because the last person she bit to bring back was Dylan, and Dylan became disintegrated, right? So she's kind of terrified that if she bites Axel, he too will become disintegrated, and she doesn't want any more lives on her conscience, basically. So that's why she refused to bite him. Axel doesn't know this. He doesn't understand, right? So Julius punches him, which whenever somebody doesn't understand something in this world, you punch them, right? So it's funny because Julius and Axel are kind of mirror images of each other. Axel was the one who was looking over Vanessa before, and now it's Julius. And in both cases, Vanessa didn't want anybody to look over her. So Julius punches him, and Axel runs off after Vanessa. And then we had a switch because Axel and the Doc were together on this journey to find Vanessa. And now we have the Doc and Julius going on this mission that Vanessa gave him to find fuel. So somewhere else in the episode, we have Dimitri, and he's basically giving Scab instructions to go meet this group, the Sisterhood. Looks like the vampires have been feuding with this group, and they basically agreed to leave each other alone. And when Scab arrives there, Scab is like the worst messenger, y'all. He's like, message. Like, the guy takes like 6 seconds to let out one vowel, right? So basically, he finally tells him, "Hey, I serve Dimitri now. He wants us basically to have some type of union, some type of agreement, because a trouble's coming for both of us. And that trouble is the elder." So Dimitri was talking about there's somebody coming who he's even scared of. And I think it's that elder character. It's definitely probably that creature, and that creature is probably behind the red door. So it looks like there's much more powerful vampires even than Dimitri, and Dimitri's a pretty powerful vampire. Looks like the longer they've been around, the stronger they are, and Dimitri's been around a while because he made Julius. So it looks like this elder creature, Dimitri's even scared of him, that he reached out to look like these enemies, the Sisterhood, which looks like a badass group of women, right? They'll have these badass masks, and looks like he's reaching out to them. Hopefully they can create an alliance, because right now, whatever's behind that red door is terrifying him. And talking about badass masks, we finally saw who was behind the mask. Her name is Scarlett Harker, right? And Scarlett Harker, when she meets Vanessa, they obviously meet how everybody meets in a superhero or in a sci-fi universe type of show. They fight first, right? I love it. I loved it. I love this part where these two ladies just went fist to fist, and they're definitely badass combatants, right? Each one held their own, and they got to the point. Basically, it was a draw because Scarlett is willing to basically put it all out there, balls out, right? Because she had a grenade, and Vanessa's like, I guess it's a draw at this point. So it's really rewarding. Probably one of my favorite parts of the episode was watching these two ladies who are very skilled and capable going at it. And it turns out that Scarlett, besides being a badass combatant, she also has a blabbermouth, right? So the minute they stop fighting, which I thought the writers, come on, you could at least waited in one episode for them to build some type of rapport. Automatically, Scarlett starts from being, well, she goes from being a ninja to being basically someone who tells you their whole life story. By the way, my parents taught me to kill everybody, and I was trained for this, and blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, it all just started coming out, right? So Vanessa hears all this from her, and then they go into this lab where they see all these test tubes. So it looks like the government has been experimenting on vampires for a while. And this is one of the questions come up. Is Vanessa someone who's been experimented on by the government? Is Vanessa someone who the government knew has certain skill sets or powers or abilities, and they were just watching her and monitoring her and trying to, run lab tests on her? Or did she actually attain these abilities via the government? Those are questions that were kind of presented to us when Vanessa walked into that room, and she had that kind of like that panic attack, like I can't be here. And then we get a flashback. So there was so much information, so much truth prevailed in this episode, like the name of the episode, right? We get this flashback and we see that Vanessa's mother was telling some scientist looking dude, hey, you better not touch my daughter, right? I don't care. Don't run any experiments or tests on her. And later on, it turns out that Vanessa has a sister, and that sister is Scarlett. So it was like, mind blown, right? Not only did we see who was behind the mask of the ninja, but the ninja turns out to be Vanessa's sister. So a lot of stuff, a lot of truth prevailed in this episode, and they both know where the location of this funky key is. And I think that fist key, that knuckle key that Vanessa took out of the mountain behind the wall, right, is going to be the key to open the red door to let that elder creature out. Now, if you know this elder creature's behind the door and you've been having funky dreams about him, why would you open the door, y'all? Why would you open the door? But that's exactly what they're going to do, because they need answers. But before they can get to those answers, they have to go through Dimitri and his legion of Julius followers that he's accrued, right? So I think the next episode is going to be a badass brawl. It's going to be very rewarding to see Scarlett and Vanessa, who are two badass, looks like Van Helsing women, right? Who are going to kick some ass, and they're probably going to kick Dimitri and his group's ass. So I'm looking forward to that. Another question is, where was Mo, Flesh, and Lucky during this episode? I'm assuming they're getting close, and since Flesh can feel Vanessa, I'm assuming maybe he's having those funky dreams about the red door, and hopefully in the next episode they'll show up and help Vanessa and Scarlett wipe the floor with Dimitri and his group, right? So that hopefully will happen in the next episode. So this is the Tone Show. If you guys like what I do on this channel, if you like my recaps, my reviews, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And like always, Tone Show.
Remember to like and subscribe for more Tone Show.